Greetings and welcome to Business Chronicles. My name is Solomon Tumwesigye, your host at Business Chronicles, which is hosted at Studio 84. Studio 84 is a podcast studio and space located along Lithuli Avenue here in Bugolobi, Kampala, and it's set up to facilitate individuals and organizations tell their stories and along the way position themselves as authorities at what they do, because we believe that everyone has a story to tell, unique story to tell, and is an authority at something. How it works is you call us on this contact below that's popping up, and we engage and see where to catch up with you on your journey to creating your own content and owning it. Whether you have just an idea in your head and you need to conceptualize it, or you already have something, we can join you along the journey all the way to editing your content, posting it, managing it, everything. You know, we have a whole team behind that. Please subscribe and hit the notification button and grow this family. Be the first one to know when the next episode comes out. Today, I am pleased to host a lady, very quiet. I am low-key concerned on how long this episode is going to take. Maybe it's going to be the shortest episode I've ever done, because she's usually reserved. Even when a room is full of people, she's in a corner by herself. She will fly under the radar most times, but she is also the lover of love. Before I ask the question, I am going to first ask her to introduce herself the way she likes to be known. Patricia, welcome to Business Chronicles, and please introduce yourself the way you like to be known.
All right. Thank you very much, Solomon. I'm very, very happy to be here today. My name is Patricia Agarukire Mulumba, also known as the lover of love. I am the founder of Perfect Evolvers Limited,
Yes.
which is a company that does counseling and life coaching services. Yeah. We help people manage their emotional state. We help people live happier and better lives in their relationships. For children, we offer that shoulder and ear for them to be able to express themselves. And for organizations, we come in and make sure that your staff is happier, is connected, that the work relationships are very clear to them and they understand why they have to do what they do. And when we're asked to visit schools, we come in and talk to the teachers and talk to the parents about how best to support the learners and the students. So in short, what we do is we help our clients evolve into better versions of themselves, but most importantly, because we believe you are worth it. And that is our tagline at Perfect Evolvers Limited.
Wow, Patricia, I have like 5 places to start already. What an intro. There is Patricia Agarukire, the lover of love. But your deep intro is not going to derail me. Okay. I will still ask you the question I had in my mind to start with.
Please answer.
Why are you the lover of love? Why do you... I was going to say, why do people like to call you the lover of love? Then I realized that you've embraced it.
Yes, I have.
Why the lover of love?
Solomon, I want to begin by saying I am so happy that finally I get someone to ask me that question.
No way.
I promise you. I've been in several spaces and I think I haven't had someone ask why the lover of love. So, why the lover of love? Number one, I believe in love. I love love. And then I'm always reminded that God is love and love is God. And then I realized that in this life we live, if you do not have love,
You have nothing.
You have nothing.
Yep.
we need to understand how strong and powerful love is.
Yeah.
So Patricia Agarukire Mulumba is one of those people that have embraced the subject of love, that has intentionally and deliberately decided to put love in everything she has to do.
Yeah.
My relationship with God, and I will preach to see that it is love. When I look at the greatest commandments, the first one saying I should love the Lord my God. So love is coming in.
Yes.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your body. That is love again coming. And when I look at the second greatest commandment, it also tells me to love my neighbor
Yeah.
as I love
Yourself.
myself. So I realized that the fact that we're created out of love, the fact that we exist, and one of the sole purposes we have to do is love. Love those that we live with. God has told us to forgive our enemies. That means even when you are at your worst, still love. When you maybe an enemy slaps you on the right, you turn the left. That is
That's
all
love.
love.
Yeah.
And given my background in teaching, it is something that I embraced even when I was working. And I realized as long as you bring love into the equation, everything works out magically.
Wow.
So when I wrote my book, Perfect Imperfections, Living the Dream of a Marriage That Lasts a Lifetime, I remember I was forced to even put a chapter that talks about the different kinds of love so that my readers or the people that I get to talk to can understand that even when you are working in different spaces, you must be able to understand what love am I bringing to the table? What does it entail? So, because everything I do in my life, I will do it with love. I realize that I love, and love loves me. Period.
Patricia, God is love, and every time I hear God is love, I remember something I had a while ago, and it stuck with me. Like, it had never sunk in until I heard that as day follows night, as water is wet, as the sun is hot, God is love. Like, that is who He is.
Yes.
So, our viewers and listeners, Patricia is in a business that I risk being wrong. I stand to be corrected. That did not exist 20 years ago. Maybe the whole thing was there when we were growing up, 20, 30 years ago, or even beyond. Who was doing for the communities what you are doing for us now?
That's a good one. 20 years or 40 years ago,
Yeah.
what I do today was there.
Yes.
Okay. And who was doing it? Because then life was communal.
Yes.
The elders used to do what we do.
Yeah.
When maybe there was a conflict of sorts, there were elders that would come in
Yes.
and try to help.
Yeah.
A child belonged to the community.
Community.
So it did not just have to be your mother to help and, like show you the way.
Yeah.
It was anybody and everybody. When a girl was going to get married, there were those aunties and their mothers that would sit this girl down. The boys had their uncles and their fathers that would maybe take a stroll, go hunting with them, and while they're trying to guide and support. It was there. The only difference is that maybe it wasn't monetized, and then there were no particular people that have had to go study to do that.
Yes.
It was there. The elders,
They were teaching from experience.
yes, they were teaching from experience, and I'm sure then the breed of the children that would come out was a lot more aligned with the community values
Yeah.
and expectations,
And how they were raised.
Exactly.
Until we grew up and some small money and started fencing our little homes off.
Fencing our little homes off, making sure nobody has a right to talk to your child.
Yes.
Even when you dress your child in a certain way and someone says, but this girl, you'd say, who are you to tell me, is this your child?
Yeah.
And yet in the past, it was okay. And somehow the children would embrace anybody.
Let me stay with you there. Let me stay with you, Patricia. How did we end up there, in your opinion?
I think, like you've stated it, how did we end up here? It is the exposure to the Western culture, and then, of course, that bit of the money, and then
money comes with classes in society.
Comes with classes. So I have more than you. You don't have any right anymore. Even in meetings, if you do not have, a certain amount of money
or a certain level of education, you have no right to speak.
You can't speak. The moment you open your mouth, they will quiet you. And yet you find maybe you even have a better opinion. You have a better experience. That's how we got here.
So this question I'm going to ask could have a long answer, but I'm going to ask anyway, and all my guests get it. How did you end up as the lover of love? Because Patricia, I can't imagine that when you were younger and they asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? You said the lover of love.
No.
Other people would say, Patricia must have gone through things by the time she's... When you are younger and they ask you what you want to be when you grow up, what was your answer?
Lawyer.
Okay. You're not too far off. Only calmer.
And you'll be shocked. I'm not as calm as I appear. I think it's the Studio 84 that has this effect. Those who know me, you will know that I am not this calm. But I love the fact that you've asked that question, and I'm happy that at least I've had others ask the question before.
Yeah.
And I've shared, and it's public knowledge out there. How did I end up here? Now, I grew up in what I would call a school of love.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, they were our first teachers of true love.
Yeah.
My father preached true love. He would quote scripture. He would, teach us and explain in depth that passion of Christ.
What was your father occupied with? His work? How did he spend his time?
My father is Reverend Charles Kahonda.
Okay, excellent.
And he was a civil servant with KCC.
Yeah.
And retired shortly before I started A-level.
Okay.
And after that, he didn't do any other work but devote all his time to connecting more with God.
Yeah.
So when we're growing up, it was a school of love. Mom would publicly express and show love to dad and us. We had, those family nights, what I now do as peace circles, where you would play like a jukebox and you talk. In the morning, every morning at 5 a.m., we would wake up, go to the prayer room and pray up to 6. Then you quickly start preparing for school. That was my life until, unfortunately, one fateful 15th February morning, as my mom is very excited and is talking about my PLE results and is really very, very happy because I was going to go to a school called Navisonsa because she loved that school. For some reason, I don't know. But mom loved that school so much. She was a P7 graduate.
Okay.
In that moment of joy and expression of, oh my God, my girl, because I was their firstborn, both mom and dad. The next thing I had was she was screaming and saying her head is bursting. That happened after she had put out a very, very loud laugh, you know. They talked about finally, you know, me starting out and mommy saying, Tinda shomere konkomo nanje yaza kwiyongerayo kushoma. As carrying our baby at that time, Hosun Kahonda, and feeding her with that baby bottle. And so when she said, my head is bursting, and called my name, Patricia, so that I could help walk her to her bedroom because she was pressing her head. Then we managed to get to the bedroom. There, my dad had to run to see how to get a special hire that would take her to the hospital, and I was there with her and a lady called Janet who had come to visit, the one she was like really telling all that, and a gentleman called Karubuka. Solomon, in my little mind, I didn't know that that was going to be the last day. So she was able to say some of the last things she said on that bed as we waited for Dad. Finally, Dad came and my mom said, Daddy, I think this is it. I want you to know that I love you. I love you so much. Please forgive me if I ever wronged you. Honey, I forgive you. And she was speaking English. And then she tried to turn. Patricia, listen to me. You're now going to be the mama in the house. Mommy is not going to be here. Take care of your siblings. Unite your siblings. I didn't know what was happening. I want you to be a mother of the nation. Do you hear me, my girl? I said, yes, Mama. And then she turned to my father and said, please take care of our children. But her eyes now at this moment were just stuck. To be honest, when she said all those words, she told Daddy and promised, I'll be here, take care of the children, my dear. Then she asked us to pray. She said, let us pray. My dad had sent someone to continue to go where the special hires were. We didn't have the apps of Uber or what, nothing. So she said, let's pray. And I remember my dad was dumbfounded. He couldn't say anything. Mom said, let's pray, people, let's pray. And then Bruno Karubuka, who's a gentleman from Congo, were living with him. He said the prayers. And he prayed in French and Lingala. I can't say what he said to God. But once we were done with the prayers, that's when she asked to shut her eyes. Nobody did, and she shut them herself. That was the end. My mother's words, I feel like that was a prophecy of sorts, because my father chose not to marry again. He declared he wouldn't. He said, I'll take care of our children, and when my time comes, I'll meet you where you are. And that is what we have seen all this life. Me, my sister Providence, preparation, my brother Junte and the little baby Hosun have been with our dad from day one. After that, a lot changed that I don't even want to go into. But I know that the lover of love that people see today was defined
In that moment.
in that moment. I understood that there are many other children who could be going through what I went through. And I said, okay, this is what I've been called to do through my mom's voice, through my Heavenly Father using my mom's voice. I will do this. I will give this love to everybody that comes my way. Because we had to be the ones that, are there with my father, I understood what it means as I was growing up in school. This is something I've been doing from that time. Took care of my siblings, supported my father, and we managed to grow up. And my dad, all my dad would do is once he would be paid, he would bring the money to me and say, here, banshashura yezi hati think kumanya twaza kukora tuta, and I would get pieces of paper and fold and write, okay, this is going to the fees, this is going to this is going to this. And somehow it kept going on. I would visit my siblings at school and I would ask the school administrators to allow me to talk to the rest of the children. Remind them that they are special, fearfully and wonderfully made. Remind them that God is the father of those who are orphaned. Remind them that today you have your parents, tomorrow you may not. So do the best you can do. Pay attention to what the teachers are telling you, what the parents are telling you. I remember even telling some teachers at that time that please, there could be children here who are like my sister. Try and, gather these children. Be that person. So the girl that wanted to be a lawyer ended up becoming a teacher. One, because that's what we could afford. Two, because that is the only way I could touch as many hearts as possible. And I started the real going to class and teaching in my senior 4 VAC. Senior 6 VAC. I was at Peace High School, Matuga, doing the same. I joined the university, did education. By the time I think I was in second year, first semester, a certain school in Zambia had given me like the role of even being a deputy head teacher. Before I knew it, I was out there. I found myself working as a freelance with Monitor Publications and spreading this message, reminding us to live as brothers and sisters, reminding us that you do not know what the brother or sister next to you is going through. It was never written on my face that maybe I didn't even sleep in the night. I was busy taking care of this baby.
Yeah.
It was not written on my face. But I would sleep very late, wake up very early, make some small things after my mom had left. The chapatis I would make is because she had taught me. The mandazi I would make is because she had taught me. The fried cassava I would make in the morning, so that on my way to school, I leave them at the nearby shops and collect that money on my way back from school, so that I run now to the market, buy some milk and some other things that we need at home, and then the cycle would go on.
Yeah.
So the brand that is seen today is a brand that has been groomed right from that time. So the lover of love today, you asked me when you came in, how did you know her name? But I want you to know, I even know now the security guy's name.
Don't say it because I might be embarrassed.
Because you don't. Solomon, that is what I do. I prefer to call someone by their name because I know that way I connect with you. And it is what I tell the different people I meet. Listen, talk. I was reminded that you can wake up. That morning, Solomon, we woke up, said our 5 a.m. prayers together. Mom was teasing me about, how she found me sleeping and was saying, but you, my girl, now you have to do this and this. And then we were laughing about it and we were preparing for church. She was going to be a moderator at church and she was so excited. Little did we know that she was going to check out before 10 a.m. Little did we know. So if you can, just give that love to somebody. Compliment them. You will ask the kind of conversation I've had with Samora this morning.
Yeah.
You will ask. But I already feel that there was this, and I know I was feeling so happy when I saw her smile, and I'm like, okay, that is something. Even if I leave, she will remember that moment. So that is the message that we preach. That is the comfort that we give. None of us knows. And Solomon, even when I go out and I talk to parents, I remind them. I know a few years ago, a young lawyer, gentleman, smart, early in the morning was going to work. And while at the traffic lights, waiting for them to go green, this mixer thing came and landed on him.
Yeah.
He left home in the morning. He didn't know that he was going to sign out before midday. One morning we woke up here in Kampala, people all busy going on with their work. And at around CPS, I think, there were these bombs. Nobody knew. People lost their legs and people checked out.
Anytime now.
So what do we have to do? The lover of love is saying, let us give love to one another. Let us love each other like Christ loves the church. Say one kind compliment. You don't lose anything. Say one kind word. You don't lose anything, because we are all worth it.
I found a good point for you to clarify. You know, that statement is, I dare say, thrown around a lot. Love people like Christ loved the church. How did Christ love the church? How that we should love the people the same way. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
How? Live for the sake of others. If you are in an office, give all you should for the people that you serve, for being in that office. Living for the sake of others. How did Christ love the church? He gave of himself.
Even when the church didn't embrace
Even when the church did not embrace him. How did Christ love the church? He gave of himself. He went around, healed the sick. He fed the hungry. He comforted those he could, even when some of them could not see that.
Did Christ have me time?
Did Christ have me time? Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
We saw there were days when he would go alone and at least have that me time. And even when he had it, he would have it with who? The very one that sent him here. All of us are here on earth for a purpose. When you have your me time, I need to remind us that that me time is never just you alone. It is you with your creator, the manufacturer of your life.
I thought you would say that me-time early in the morning up the mountain, having some time by himself.
And today you can even have it in your car as you drive.
Yeah.
You can have it, if you're alone, even in your bathroom. You can have it when maybe you're about to go to sleep. You can even have it said during your lunchtime. You have your break. Now for you here, if there's nobody in the studio, that is a good moment for you to be able to have your me time. Give of yourself as much as you could, because the best thing you can do is bless as many hearts as possible, touch as many hearts as possible. I am able to talk about mom today, and at some point, I know I was getting a lot more emotional talking about her. But I was able to do that, and I'm always able to do that because of how she touched my heart, how she blessed me as a child. But today we have parents who can't even say or do that for their children.
Patricia, you make your whole story seem like that moment as a teenager, I think, was a turning point and you never looked back. But I want to imagine that it was a very sad moment. You grieved. You went on to school. Did you go to Nabisunsa?
No, I didn't.
You didn't go to Nabisunsa, studied education instead of law, and lived like any other teenager and all that, had your wild time at some point.
Yes.
I'm keen to know at what point all this came back to you with clarity.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very good one. I think for me, it was at that point.
Yeah. You knew your life would never be the same again.
It would never be the same again. I had to wear the shoes of our mom then. I wore the shoes of this big sister that has then. I
And your
didn't
father
go.
did not help by declaring his income, and you guys had to plan for it together.
I don't know if you get my point.
I get it.
And the fact that I did not even go to Nabisonsa, one of the things that excited my mother the most, when we were done with the whole burial process and all these things that happen in, in the setting, and then now my father said, okay, where do I start from? Because mom had a way she would do most of those things,
Yes.
go shop the things for back to school and what, and my dad is still in that moment. Time elapsed, and by the time we went to Nabisonsa, we were sadly told that there were no places. I had been sent to Taiba. When we went to Taiba, they said, okay, because we are now full, come back in senior 2. Because we told them the story, and I was crying and telling them, it wasn't my intention not to report on time. This is what happened. They said, no, your place is there, but come back in senior 2. When we went to the school they had sold me to, it was the same story. Now, Solomon, I stayed at home. I remember one of my aunties saying, okay, I am the auntie, but she was way older than us, saying, no, let me try Nabingo. We went to Nabingo. I went to Nabingo, Trinity College Nabingo, with her because that was her school. And when we got there, it was the same explanation. We are so sorry. We are full to capacity. However, in senior 2, your place will be here. That was what the head teacher at the time said. So I came back home, and my dad didn't know what happens next. And I remember as a little girl, our house had a prayer room, and that became my place. I would go in there. I knew that mom has transitioned to spirit world, and now she can even listen. And I said, Mom, I don't know what to do. I told God, you said you make a way where there seems to be no way. Please make a way for me. And I stayed home, taking care of my baby sister. My friends were studying until, I think, 2 weeks later, my father came home and said, guess what, Patricia? I found a school for you. I said, which school? He said, Bishop Sisto Mazolidi. And that school is along Entebbe Road in Luiza. I said, how? He said, I was talking to the lady I was talking about. I was talking to so-and-so, and I'll even say the name. I was talking to Jovent, and someone was listening in, and he walked over and said, please bring that girl to school tomorrow. So I will use this very space to honor Brother Sally, who was the head teacher at the time. Brother Sally said, I go to school, that they should buy the uniforms for me, and he needed me at school the following day.
Wow.
Just like that. When Daddy was telling me, I said, what? Said, yes, so you're going to school. I got this and this. I packed my suitcase and reported to that school, Bishop Sisto Mazolidi, SS. I joined senior 1. The students had already studied for more than 2 weeks. I didn't know where to start from. And because the best thing my parents gave me and my siblings was knowing that there is a greater parent, I looked for the chapel. And that is where I would always be, talking to my God and, having a few conversations with a mother I thought now can hear what I have to say. Then I got another challenge. Every evening or every other evening, my father would walk from KCC, because he used to work at City Hall, walk on foot to come to Mazolidi. So when the students were, maybe playing or doing whatever, I would be at the gate seated. And my father would come and tell me, the other day the baby was crying. This is happening. So and so now came and took these things and said they are for the sister. So and so came and took these things and said they were for. He would come, and at that point I knew he just needed someone to talk to, and the person he could talk to was me. And you imagine he would do that almost every other day. I would sit and wait to listen and tell him, Daddy, all will be well. Don't worry, we shall be okay. So one time I am in that chapel and I'm breaking down. I start writing a prayer to God. And I think that's how I even started the business of journaling and, pouring out. And I tell the students and the people that I talk to, journal, let whatever you're feeling go. And after writing that prayer, I just ran to Brother Sally, because he was now like the other person I had, and showed him the prayer. When he read it, I remember I saw his eyes turn red, and then he rang the bell and called an assembly. And then he declared that we have a school prayer. I had to say that prayer. And then he said they are taking it on as the school prayer.
Wow.
When we got holidays, my report was very good. But in the holiday, I walked looking for another school in which I would be in a day section. Because seeing my father every day, I said it means I have to be at home. And so that is how I go to Mango SS, and they tell me the same story. Come back in senior 2. I told them I need to be in day school next term. I can't be in boarding school. When Mango told me to come back the following year, I walked to the nearby school myself alone. And I found Old Kampala Senior Secondary School, because it was a bit close to Mango. And at the time, was staying in a place called Kasubi. I knew that that's a distance I could manage to walk.
Yeah, about 2 kilometers.
So
less than 2.
I also honor Mrs. Oketa, who was the deputy at the time. I phoned her with Mrs. Nidoi. They were talking, and I introduced myself, told them my story, and said, I need a school. If you don't give me a school, I don't know what I'm going to do. And they told me it is okay. They called the storekeeper for me to try on the uniforms. I was given the bank slips and whatever. And that is how my journey in Old Kampala SS started. So I know what I am today started immediately.
Yeah.
And when I was in Old Kampala, I didn't stop. I used, if some people could come out today, they would remember. I would even come with charts, manilas, on which there was information about, taking care of one another, loving yourself, because these are things I was doing for my siblings now.
Yeah.
So I'd go to the schools all the time. So my whole journey started then.
Patricia, I have 2 questions that have been ringing in my head.
It's okay.
One is on your love of love business. At what point, because at this point you're doing it as a hobby, it's something you're passionate about. At what point do you formalize it and realize, you know what, I need to do this consistently, do it professionally, I need to go study more and learn how the human mind and behavior works for me to deliver professionally?
At the university.
When you are doing education?
Yes.
You realize this education thing is not for me.
I realized it was a good decision for me, because then one of the modules we had was the counseling bit.
Yeah.
And after that, when I started teaching in schools, all the schools I would go to, I found myself being assigned that department. I served as a senior woman teacher, served as the counselor in the schools.
Yes.
Now I was starting to do it professionally.
I kind of have an idea. When you are doing education, you get on this course unit about counseling, and all these things are coming back to you. Things you've been doing and saying, but now you can put terms and reasoning.
Because we had one in counseling, we had another module in psychology. We had, because I know education like gives the students a very wide range of exposure and understanding. You'd find while others maybe had like 8 or 5 course units, we would have course units in 20s.
Wow.
You know? So
learn a bit of everything.
A bit of everything.
Patricia, so you finish university, you're deployed in different schools to teach your senior woman, your whatever, and all that stuff. Which now leads me to the next question. All this time, you're growing closer and closer to your father. You're his sole support system. How does it play out when you have to get married and leave?
Oh my goodness. I think it was one of the toughest. One of the
For whom? For you or both?
Both of us. It was really tough. However, there's something that happened when I think I was in senior 2.
Yeah.
And I remember when I said that in the African Woman
magazine.
No, there was a search for an African woman beauty then under V&A and something, and somehow my husband nominated me. And when we were at the final stage, I think it was now 3 of us from 1,000 to 3. One question was asked and we all had to give an answer. So they said I should, like, what is that one thing you regret? Like the worst mistake you've made? And my fellow contestants, gave their answers. But in that moment, Solomon, what came to my mind like the worst mistake? And that's why I say that really is a good question.
Yeah.
I told them my worst moment was when my father, after mom, passing, all these other, relatives and elders.
We hadn't started talking about those ones.
Were telling him he should take on another woman.
Yeah.
And so one time I'm in the kitchen preparing supper for the family. He walks over to me and says, Patricia, I'm being pressured into marrying again. What do you think about that? What do you have to say about it? Oh my goodness. The things I say to Dad then, I think still rings a bell in my mind.
What did you say?
I said,
Idea.
Dad, how do you even come to ask me that?
Patricia, this is exactly what I thought. He went to seek counsel from the wrongest person.
He asked me, I said, Daddy, how can you even, Daddy, I'm sorry. I said that. But I said, how can you even ask me that? You mean we are not enough? But Daddy, I'm trying to do everything. Now you want to bring a stepmom to mistreat us. But aren't we enough children, Daddy? And I remember my father Papa, I'm sorry. He didn't say a thing. He just looked at me and then walked away. And it has never surfaced again.
Patricia, knowing what you know now, would you still have advised him not to remarry? Emotions aside, if I was your client or if it was your client who walks in under the same situation.
I think I would have asked him to do so. I would have gotten on my knees with my siblings and my dad, and then we pray that whoever other person he finds is good to him and to us. Why? Because mom and dad had 4 daughters, and one son. Okay, there
Yeah.
should have been two, but Bosco passed on. May his soul rest in peace. So we were five, and 4 girls and 1 boy. Now, even in that moment when they were asking me during that competition, the VNA African Woman competition, I said it was a mistake, and I went ahead because I narrated that to them, to the judges, and I told them why it is a mistake every single day as I'm in my home with my husband, knowing that a spouse has a lot more to give than just, what I thought at that time.
Yeah.
It really breaks me.
Yeah.
He's alone now. I am married. My 2 sisters are married. They have their own families.
Yeah.
My brother is now also settled, and my little sweetheart Hosun, our last born, is in that phase where she also really wants to start a family of her own.
Yeah.
And many times when we talk, the question is now, if she leaves Papa,
Who is left with
who is left with him? And I know that she feels that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because at some point she's also going to leave.
Yeah.
So the best we have done, those of us who know me and my siblings and my dad, one of the things they know, they see we are very close to Dad. We are always with him. Sometimes even on Sunday, I've prepared this meal and we're about to eat. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to sit here and eat this. What about Papa?
Yeah.
So I request my lovely husband, and thank you so much, Professor, for loving me and my family. I request that we run and have that meal with him.
Yeah.
Many times, if he's not at my house, he's maybe at Prepa's house or Provi's place or at his place. But then we find ourselves. So many times on Sundays, after, the family meeting and, lunch, all of us in our different spaces will head to be with him. But I imagine if maybe he had a colleague or a spouse, a loving, caring spouse, we would be wherever we are, and we are very happy. But I thank him that he's all he talks about is his children. All he celebrates is who we've become. He's a very emotional person. I know when he watches this, he will break down. But I will use this space to say, Papa, we love you. We're so proud of you. We appreciate the sacrifice. And we all pledge, Provi, Prepa, Junte, and I pledge to honor you for the rest of our lives. And thank you for what you did for us.
Wow. Patricia, I have grown to appreciate that when you trust that the journey of your life is not, the word says you can make our plans, but the God guides your steps. Then I have grown to appreciate everything that happens to me or happens to someone on their journey, because it is, I deeply believe that it's God's hand in shaping your journey. Because when you believe that you can make all your plans, you will toss the dice, and God decides how they fall.
He's the one that establishes them.
Exactly. Then you appreciate or make peace with that your mother had to go at the point when she went. She could have stayed. You could have gone to Navisonsa and never have grown closer to your siblings and your father as much as you did. So for me, it is the peace that comes with knowing that
he has plans for us.
Exactly. And his plans are greater than his plans are greater than ours. Patricia, I can't go without asking you. Typically, when you say lover of love, we go straight. Our minds go straight to romantic love. and yet from what you talk about, your love is all encompassing. I'm just keen to know, can you mention, without giving much detail, your last 5 clients, the kind of love or kinds of conversations you were having? Yes.
Okay. My last 5 clients, the very last one that I had yesterday, our conversation was similar to what I've just been sharing. A little boy who also lost a mother 2 years ago, and now they are struggling.
Yeah.
I've reminded him of the trust in God and to know that it's not a mistake.
Yeah.
God is there, God is with him, and so he shouldn't worry about the future, because the biggest challenge was he's worried about the future. He doesn't know what's going to be. And then also together with his siblings, they're struggling about, okay, who is daddy going to bring in and stuff like that. Now that's the last one I had. The others are couples, because I do the premarital counseling sessions in Rubaga. In the Tuesday class, I do the same for Uganda Matters Shrine, Namgong, Munyonyo. I do the same for St. Augustine. So the others have been the premarital counseling sessions where I've reminded them the importance of God in everything they do.
Yeah.
And why communication must never cease in that relationship. And I usually tell the couples, sit together, talk about everything that you intend to do together, like everything, like the 360 of the marriage. Talk about the finances, talk about the bedroom, talk about. So in our conversations, we go into the bedroom, go into the finances, go into the parenting, go into the me time moments, go into the vision, mission, and values of that marriage, go into the direction, go into the members that sit on your marriage board. Who are those that you're going to have to go to in case? Who are those that are going to be your accountability partners? I know you're laughing because I called it a marriage
I'm
board.
coming. I'm ready. I'm giving you time to finish. I don't want
you need to know who are the board members of this marriage institution of yours, the two of you are directing. And I've reminded them to also talk about the strategies that they use. So our conversations in the premarital counseling sessions are all encompassing. What does it mean to forgive? What does it mean? Because for the marriages, we are going in for a covenant with God at the center, and then you're saying you're going to honor each other and be together in sickness and in health, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. But what does that exactly mean?
Yeah.
So those are conversations we've had, and I'm excited. I've recently been also entrusted with the St. Charles Rwanga Church of Ntinda. I can't wait to meet them today. Yeah. And those are the conversations we are going to have. Then I've also had an organization that has also taken me on to manage the entire leadership of that organization. Quite big. I'm very, very honored. Those we've talked about what it means to create a culture, organizational culture. So I come in especially for the leaders, and we support them to see that they create, that culture as they lead, to know that everything rises and falls on leadership, as John C. Maxwell says. But what does it mean if you're a leader? Because that is going to call for you to give of yourself in a 360 dimension. The others, the single and searching, who ask what is it that I should look for before I find somebody. And then also them, you remind them that it all begins with you. Before you're telling someone you love them, you should answer that question: do you love yourself? Because the second greatest commandment is telling us to love the other person as you love yourself. So if your cup is empty, then you can't give from an empty cup. And that has also come up a lot. And I think the last 5, I can stop there. But I am very excited because of these conversations. I ended up starting something I call Coffee with the Lover of Love, and I invite the general public once in a month. Especially the last Friday of the month, we meet. We've been meeting at Ora de Vispar from 5:30 to around 9, and people are just there to enjoy coffee and tea and a few bites with the lover of love, and we are having conversations with you just like we are having here, and people are talking and people are pouring out, they are connecting, and for me, I feel my cup is full. And seeing people sharing and some crying, some laughing harder than before, it blesses my heart, and I pray that God continues to use me to touch as many lives as possible and help people appreciate all the different kinds of love. They are close to 8, so that we know that love is indeed a living thing that you have to feed, and then it will grow. And yeah.
Patricia, you're impossible. I still have many questions. I mean, we're concluding well.
Okay.
Let's
I'm
start
happy.
with the singles. Love yourself, because even like on the plane, you have to first put the mask on yourself so that you can. There's a thin line between loving yourself and being selfish. We misunderstand it.
That is true.
Briefly, what's the difference?
When
With small examples.
Yes, because I know now we have somehow there's this wild growing phase of narcissists, and they overly love themselves at the cost of the other. In this case, loving yourself first means making sure that you have, first of all, been able to understand what I call them the beauties of self.
Yeah.
You must first of all be able to understand who you are. That is loving self. And discover who you are. What works for you? What doesn't work for you? Now, that doesn't call you to be selfish. This is investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Understanding your worth. What we call the self-worth. Understanding your value. Because like I said in the beginning, you're special, you're fearfully, you're wonderfully made. You are a valuable child of God. Understand who your God is. So when I talk about self-love, I'm not saying that, be too selfish to the rest. No.
That alone is good. What can I do to know myself? Know my worth?
Know your value.
Yes.
Care for yourself.
Yes.
All the self-beauty.
Practically speaking.
1, make sure that you, first of all, get to know the good things about you.
That's a good
Then
place to start.
the bad things about you. The things you are so good at, and the things that you are not good at.
That may call for the humility to ask for opinions from the closest people around you.
Exactly.
Because like in football, you need a coach who is outside observing from a distance.
But before you even go to them, it starts with you. Solomon, there are things you know about yourself. So I need that to be done first by you. So that by the time you move to ask the others,
you already have an opinion.
You have an opinion, and now it's just checking. You will smile when they mention something that you already know. And then when they mention something about those things that you're not good at, then you'll be able to say, okay, now this is indeed. So now I must work on this.
Do you believe in retreats, personal retreats?
Yes, I do. 100%. 100%. 100%, please.
Okay.
Out of that.
Love of love. You have to come back and we dissect these things individually as separate episodes. organization culture. I notice organizations Monday morning go, this week this is what we are doing, last week this is what we're supposed to do, and all that. And yet all these organizations and businesses are led by human beings whose business decisions are based on their personal things. Do you explore, and why don't they have, most of them, intentional time to explore themselves? I like to tell people that everyone likes to hide behind systems, but systems are made of human beings, and human beings are made of, they carry whatever they are carrying and bring them into the systems. Is that the kind of thing you're doing with organizations?
Yes, trying to make them know that the human beings who are behind the systems must be able to also understand that if there is maybe a culture that is not aligning in
Yes.
the maybe purpose, the vision and everything, then that's a conversation we can have. And as leaders, to know that it is important for the leaders to have that bubble that is of leaders, so that all these leaders now are speaking the same language and they can go. Because if someone has their individual, traits or something, if you're working together with other leaders, all of you are able to now put into that basket to see now what it is that each one of you is bringing. What is it that is going to work for this organization? What can we put on the shelf for now? And then together with one voice, the different leaders can be able now to spread out and be able to speak this same language with all the other members of that organization.
Of course, I had to bring up the marriage board. Let's talk about this board. No one tells us we need to have a board.
Yes, we do.
Which is connected to my very first comment on what you are saying. I want to dare say that premarital counseling, I don't know, I have not attended premarital counseling for the last close to 20 years. The last time I checked, it was like ticking the box. And honestly, you know that when people are about to get married, they are not listening to you.
That's true.
Do you plan to have like a refresher course after 6 months, after 1 year, especially people who have not lived together? The first couple of months is madness. I don't know how you're doing your premarital counseling different, because at that point, people are not listening to you.
I know. And I always joke with them. I say, I said this point, but I know now you're thinking about the service provider you haven't paid.
Exactly.
And then we laugh about it. I totally understand where that is coming from. But I want to say, for example, at Rubaga, we have these couples for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Which time is not even enough, but we meet them every Tuesday.
Yeah.
From 8:30 to around 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So for all those months we are with them, in the first month, it is God, what we call the catechism, understanding, the doctrine, what it is, because you're going to have to raise children of God, and we need you to make sure you are intentional about making them understand and establishing their own relationship with God. I call that the give and take, when we explain. It's important. So in the first month, we handle that. Then the second and third month, we are handling all these other things. But we do something. We cluster these couples according to the months in which they married. And so we make sure they have their platforms, and every month they are back to renew these vows. At that time, they are sober enough, really. And then we have more conversations with them on the monthly anniversaries. So every month, in January, we have a day we are meeting the January couples from way back. Then we do the same up to December. And each of those months is also having what we call an administrator, a spiritual director. that spiritual director is still working with them, and together they have established their own leadership. They have their own plans. I've seen some of them even organize their own retreats. They go to Kalangala and maybe some other places, and while there they have more conversations, by the fire together. That was one way we thought we could see that there's that continuity.
Yeah.
And it has now spread to all the other parishes where we actually serve. But also encouraging them on these platforms, it is okay to keep, asking in case there's a challenge, and then some people are sharing, maybe they dealt with it, they're able to share. So together you walk this journey together as a group, and amongst those different clusters, people connect at even deeper levels. So you'll find someone even choosing maybe a couple from their month or from the Geno alumni group to be like godparents. They visit. Some have even started financial, businesses or circles together. So I feel that is one step, like Desmond Tutu said, if you're to eat an entire elephant, you'll eat one at a time. So we don't deny the fact that at that moment a lot is happening. We acknowledge, but even then, one other thing we say, please take note of something, because if you write something down tomorrow, remember, I believe a lot in writing. If you write something down, take note of it. One day, one time, as you're just flipping through the pages of your notebook or scrolling, you're able to see something and maybe at that time it's going to speak to you. Then we also say the two of you, because what happens in my marriage, Mr. Tumwesigye, may not happen in your marriage.
Yeah.
What works for you may not work for me. Even us as the facilitators of these counseling sessions, we remind them that at some point, maybe I'm going to say something and I'm totally basing on maybe what I've seen working for me. But choose what works for you, because we are all different. We are unique. Develop constitutions that will work for the two of you. For example, I am a Mchiga, married to a Catholic Muganda man from Masaka. You will find that what is happening in this home has a lot of difference from a Mchiga who is married to a Mchiga, or from a Muganda from Masaka who is married to a Muganda.
Different struggles.
Different way of life in there. So what you do, you find what works for you, but then if you need some guidance, you still are free to come back. So we have them coming back anytime, and that's why I encourage the couples out there, at least have those members on the board, but also have a team of people. You see, that's why some churches will have the Mothers Union, the Fathers Union, the Women's Guild, the Men's Guild, some have seen the Fascinating Womanhood. You'll find, those small clusters. Use them for the good, not for competition. I know that is also another challenge, people competing with each other as couples. If we go in there and we are coming from a background of love and bettering ourselves, then it will work. That's how we manage to help, especially those who may not be able to pay attention during the sessions.
Patricia.
The boards. The boards you had mentioned.
Yes, the board is... I know I started with the marrieds board, a couples board. But then even individuals, I figure, need.
Yes. Everybody, you have members who sit on your personal board.
You may not even know that you have them.
Many people, when we
whether it's your
they're
Friday evening drinking buddies or whatever it is, but everyone has a board. Now go do your homework, find out who is your board.
Who is your board? And then when you eventually marry, you must sit to agree on now who automatically has a seat. Because if you are still together, on
the ones that went to the bush, the ones that have a permanent seat on the board.
On the board of your marriage, because there is you as an individual, you have your board members, I have my board members. When we meet, we must be able to agree who sits on this marriage, because not every Tom, Dick and Harry will sit on your marriage board. And not everybody you've been having as a personal board member will sit. And that's why you see all churches, I actually laughed when I thought about that. All churches ask you to present at least 2 members of your board. And that is why when you marry, they ask you for your maid of honor and they ask you for the best man.
Oops.
Those are meant to be board members. But this is what happens for my sisters. You choose somebody simply because
They're darker than you.
they are not as beautiful as you are. And your friends are saying, how do you choose that person? How is she going to look in the pictures? Then you look for somebody that in your view is not as beautiful so that they don't outshine. Or for my brothers, someone who can afford the kind of suits that you want to put on. And you bring that. But the church already asks you for automatically 2. And they are telling you, say, in where I come from, they tell you, at least if that person is coming to sit on your marriage board, let them be married. Why do they say that? Because they know you can't give what you don't have. What are you going to contribute on this marriage institution board when you are not married? Some of us bring little sisters. She's not married. She doesn't know what it takes, and she can't play that role. So what happens is you find you have the ones that are going to be on the front so that they look good and in the pictures, and then you have the witnesses, what we call them witnesses, who come and sign.
I think it's important that we end this episode because
Exactly.
the violence. Now you're challenging people to go and repeat their weddings so that they choose wisely.
No, it's okay. If they had, maybe if the members on their boards, the ones whose signatures are on your certificate, are not the people that have, qualified to be, or those that can work with you, then it is okay. You sit, the 2 of you sit and then decide and see how you can always have these conversations with those that you trust to work with you.
Wow, Patricia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Solomon.
I usually ask my guests to give their parting shot. Is there, when I told you we are doing this today, is there something you think you had on your heart that you think we've not touched on that you want to close with? Go ahead.
When you told me, I thought maybe we were going to come and talk about the children. I'm so really passionate about
We have to talk about it. Say something about the children as you close. I pray that you don't raise more questions.
No, let me not. I'm going to say our children are a blessing from God. Our children look up to us as their parents. I respect the fact that we have to fend for them, but I will request that we give them the time. We try and listen to them. We create our family culture where we are the friends they can talk to. And I say this because I was really, really, really disturbed by recent events of a parent that beat another one's parent to death. And then a young man that said he wouldn't go to school if he wasn't given more than 500 for pocket money. Our children are living in a world that is so different from a world we lived in. They're exposed to so much information. They know so much that we do not know. I want to implore the parents out there to be intentional about the parenting journey, to know that over pampering is not loving, to be able to raise these children in a way that most importantly honors God, to instill godly values in them, because when we are not there, their fear of God is going to give them the wisdom that will help them know what is right and what is wrong. Let us not think that we can raise the children alone. Together we can make a difference. Parent your child, please parent your child. in a way that will honor God and honor them. Because if all of us sweep our verandas, we shall have a cleaner community, we shall have cleaner houses. And at the end of the day, when they eventually cross over into marriage, then one is not going to overburden the other. So if you parent your child well and the other party doesn't, then we have all these problems we are seeing in marriages today. Let us all do good and believe that we are all worth it. With all the love on earth, may the Lord God protect you. May He open doors for you. May He make you better than you were yesterday, because He is the beginning and the end. And the Lord our God has plans for us to prosper us and not to destroy us. Let us live for the sake of others. Let us do good, because when you do good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. I love you, and I remain Patricia Agarukire Mulumba, the lover of love, who was born to inspire before I expire. Thank you, Solomon, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Patricia.
And God bless you.
Bless you too. I was going to say you are incapable of saying something and not raising questions, but I will not ask them. Our viewers and listeners, Patricia Agarukire, she has been very candid. I can confirm I still have more questions for her. But please subscribe to our channel. Patricia, hopefully she can give me her contact or her business contact. I put it in the description. Reach out to her to have a conversation on any of the things that she has raised. I'll catch you on the next episode. My name is Solomon Tumwesigye. Thank you for joining us.